Saharan dust is a mixture of very small sand and dust particles from the Saharan Desert. You are more likely to see Saharan dust in the UK in winter if there are mild and unsettled conditions combined with a stronger jet stream, which helps to transport the dust to the UK. Strong winds regularly blowing across the Sahara lift dust and sand high into the sky. Winds in the atmosphere at between 3,000 and 7,000 feet can transport the dust thousands of miles across the sky. When winds are blowing from a southerly direction, the dust is transported towards the UK. For dust to get back down to the ground, it needs to be washed out of the sky by rain. As raindrops fall, they collect particles of dust on the way. When raindrops land and eventually evaporate, they leave behind a fine layer of red dust, often visible on vehicles. Weather conditions like these can result in a steady flow of dust for several days.
There's been a lot of talk about this, so I wanted to explain it a little better. It's dust that's coming off of Africa that will travel across the Atlantic towards the Caribbean and most likely towards the Gulf as we go into next week. Let's take a look. So this is here Friday, June the 19th. Watch as we go through the weekend into early next week, and I'm going to stop at about the middle to late part of next week. There's Thursday into Friday, and then stop it here at Saturday. You can see all that dust again making its way up through the Gulf and along the Gulf Coast states. Doesn't quite get all the way up in here to Knoxville, but looks like some of that could go into the central and southern plains as well. Now, this is not the type of thing we're going to see. This is not the dust storm that you would see basically out in the desert Southwest, places like Arizona or Nevada. It's not going to be that kind of system. In fact, this is actually very common, especially in June and July. And the elevation or the location of this dust is between about 5,000 and 15,000 feet up. So this is not going to cause a huge concern. It's actually a good thing in some respects because it limits the available moisture in the atmosphere, which is what tropical systems need to develop. So it will actually suppress that over the next week and a half or so. It actually can dump about 180 million tons from the African plains and make their way across the Atlantic. That can fill about 700,000 tractor trailers. So again, this is common. We just don't usually see maybe this large of a plume making its way over. It also can provide some pretty nice sunsets at times. So especially along the Gulf Coast areas, but beaches should make some pretty nice sunsets across the area. So again, this